In this video, we're going to teach you how to build a perimeter French drain. We're going to show you every single detail to building a backyard perimeter French drain. You have water coming in from your neighbor's yard. You're saturated down the property lines. What is it going to take to get rid of all the water? You have children, you have pets. The yard is spongy, it's saturated. What can you do that's going to cover you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days out of the year? Always haul all the dirt away. Don't put any of the dirt back in. That is the biggest problem that we have in the industry, is contractors and homeowners going through the work to dig the trench, but putting the dirt back in on top of some stone and pipe. Get rid of all the dirt. You don't want any of this dirt going back in. Why would you put this dirt back in? You worked so hard to get it out. Yet it's a common mistake. Most contractors are not equipped to haul it away. That's the problem we have in the industry. Now, this is a perimeter French drain. The entire yard has a French drain around it, down all the property lines. Perforated. They got 8 slots, big inlets. Man, this yard's really wet, really spongy, really soft. We got a storm drain right here. We're going to tie that in. The guys are lining the trench with fabric. Always use a good non-woven geotextile filter fabric that's been double punched. Never use a weed barrier. It's not the same. You need a fabric that's designed to let the water through. We have another storm drain right here. Think about that. We have 2 storm drains in this backyard. Yet this backyard is soaking wet. People have a hard time understanding how that is. These storm drains are for flood water. When you have water that rises and can flow into the grate, these only catch surface water. So when there's a lot of surface water, they'll grab up that bulk water at the surface. They don't do anything for the subsurface soil. Unless you core through the sidewall of that storm drain and do what we call a core and tap. You want to tap it. You core through it, and you go ahead and use some hydraulic concrete and put a sleeve in. So there's the tap, big tap. Going to be really easy to tie into. Going to drain the whole system in this storm drain right here. This is a 5-foot fabric, 4 ounce. This is what we use 99% of the time. It's a heavy 4 ounce. Not all 4 ounce fabrics are created equal. It's a commercial 4 ounce. It's a true 4 ounce. There's a lot of cheater 4 ounce fabrics out there. I don't know how they get away with labeling their non-woven geotextile filter fabric 4 ounce. Our 4 ounce is a true construction grade 4 ounce. It's equal to everybody else's 6 ounce for sure. Easy. We have to have the skill level of plumbers, electricians, builders, and equipment operators. Very few guys can run an excavator the way Francisco does. This is a lot of seat time, guys, and you got to be willing to put that seat time in. You'll get better and better as the years go by. Now, he's going to narrow the tracks right here so he can get through this gate opening. Pay attention to the tracks. This is a really cool feature that this U17 Kubota excavator has. Look at that. Pulled those tracks together. Machine is nice and narrow, can get right through that gate area. Now this machine doesn't have a zero tail, which means when you swing it, it hangs a little bit over the tracks, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad, and that allowed Francisco to work in those tight quarters. Guys that are afraid to run excavators and are using trenchers, don't be. It takes some time, but you'll get the hang of it. All right, so always have a laser level. If you're a pro, always have a laser level. Set it up in the middle of the yard. We put a clean out on the bottom pipes. If this was a quad pack, we'd just still put 2 clean outs on both bottom pipes. This is just the double barrel. We only need a turf plate on one of the cleanouts. We'll be able to find them because of the one turf plate, so there's no need for 2 turf plates. The crew likes to use the wide clips. It spaces the pipes out so we can get stone in between them. There's narrow clips and there's wide clips. The narrow clips are light blue, the wide clips are black for the 3.5. For the 4-inch, the narrow clips are royal blue and the wide clips are a tan. We color code them so they don't get mixed up. We don't want them to get mixed up on the job site. We don't want to mix them up in shipping. So the guys want a pillar of stone. Think about that. Stone doesn't have any tensile strength, but it has a lot of load-bearing strength. So by putting a pillar of stone in between these pipes, they can't get crushed. Makes it really strong. We worked really hard. We had many prototypes to get the spacing perfect. We'll be able to get stone on both sides of the pipe and in between the 2 pipes. They're called quick connects for a reason. 2 guys went ahead and had this whole system done with the quick connects in under 5 minutes. The 3.5-inch pipe, it pulls so nice through sprinklers, utility lines. This will be the first job that we show and use our newly patent pending 45. You guys done this before?
No, these ones not.
What do you think?
Beautiful.
Looks all right? Looks like a good one?
Yeah.
The clips are going to hold. Not like the old one. The ones that we've had to use because it's all there was. They don't have no clips. They don't hold. They're blow molded. Notice how it doesn't have an edge that's rolled up either. You know how the other one's got the edge rolled up?
Yeah.
So then when you're trying to get the pipe to lay flat, it won't lay flat. Man, that's one good part. Look at those clips, man. They're mean. Spring loaded. Smooth on the inside, mold injected, so it's consistently molded throughout. No thin spots like a blow mold, where you sometimes see holes in the blow molds. It's crazy. The difference in quality. Look at the 3.5. Pretty sexy, huh? Drain guys, man. Junkies. Patent pending. Braced. Ridiculously. Insanely strong. A lot of engineering went into this. These clips are just sick, man. We got them right. Just know that. We got them right. All right, we got really deep right here. So this whole system was put in with a laser level. Start out shallow. You always want to start out shallow. You want 1 inch of drop every 8 feet for 1% slope. By the time we got here, we were deep enough for a quad pack. So we got 4 3.5 inch pipes in the trench. Right now, Patrick is clipping these top pipes so that we can hold everything together. You guys seen how tight it was getting in and out of this yard. Tracks rubbing the fence. So this will be less trips back here with stone because we're running a quad pack. You're going to get more void with the pipe than you'll ever get with stone. We used to use nothing but 1.5 inch round rock, but then we just started running all quads. You're going to get so much void from 4 pipes that it's probably equivalent to running grapefruit size, small boulders, if you will, small field stone in a trench. This is going to have a greater capacity and a lot more void than any rubble drain that you can build. Always put an end cap where you start your system. These are top pipes in a quad, so we don't need cleanouts on these. So these end caps, they're really tight. Once you get them in, they're not coming out. You literally have to cut them out. We knew all the failure modes of all the products on the market, so when it was time for us to make each and every component, we were hyper-focused to make them the very best that we could. You'll need a clip every couple feet. If you see the pipes coming together in a spot, throw another clip. It's fast, it's easy, and they're affordable. We knew they had to be affordable. Had to be quick, easy, and inexpensive. You don't want to be using zip ties. It takes too long. Zip ties are too expensive. So we don't have to tape anything together because this is all perforated. We're trying to let the water in, so it's pointless to tape it. The guys used a lot of fasteners. See how they have that 3.5 inch 45 in a 4 inch Y? That's what's nice about the 3.5 and the 4 inch. They're so compatible. So the guys did a really nice job connecting this. So we have all the pipe connected. We got a 45 and a 3.5. We got a 45 and a 4. So you got another 45 and a 3.5. Over here, 45 and a 4. Another 45 and 3.5. These are shallow up here. They drop right in. Everything's connected. We can flush everything out if need be. Beautiful job. The guys will finish laying the pipe real straight. You don't have to put any tape on these external couplers on a French drain. We're trying to let the water in. Perfectly spaced. You can get stone on both sides of the pipe. Look at how easy it is to get 3.5 inch pipe through the sprinkler lines. And when we run across utilities, it's also a breeze. Super easy. Right here we got another sprinkler line. Comes off a main. Got a sprinkler head that's on funny pipe. We didn't have to cut that. That's just the way it was. Came out great. We have several of those throughout the system. Here's another sprinkler on funny pipe. You see the sprinkler head, sprinkler line. So we're going to work our way into this backyard. Once we get far enough down the trench, we can get the mini loader sideways. Now they're getting stone on both sides of the pipe and in the middle. We have this nice stone pillar in the middle. Remember, stone doesn't have any tensile strength. What we're building, we're not trying for tensile strength. We want load-bearing strength, and stone is going to give us a lot of load-bearing strength. Having that pillar of stone in between the two pipes, that's key. But how do you get that perfect stone pillar in between the pipes if you don't have stone clips? We knew. Nice, even, consistent. Make sure you leave the stone shallow enough to where you can fold the non-woven geotextile filter fabric that's been double punched. You want to make sure that you have a few inches of overlap, not too much, because it will impede its ability to drain if you have too much overlap, but a few inches. Now here in the north, we woke up and there was a little bit of snow on the lawn. You can see our sand is frozen. So you normally won't have to do that, but even though it's April 20th, we woke up to a real feel of 18 degrees. Go figure. Almost May. So we're kind of used to it. We're kind of built for it. When you're merging two parallel lines, you're going to need a Y with a 45. When you're merging a quad pack and you have multiple French drains coming from multiple directions, you will need Ys and 45-degree fittings to make all of these connections work. We like to connect every single pipe. Since we put cleanouts on all the bottom pipes, we want all the bottom pipes connected. We're using 3/4 inch round rock. It's been washed, it's clean. Always have a man stand on the pipe. That way stone can't roll under it. If stone rolls underneath the pipe and lifts it up, you're going to have a belly in the line. That's where sediment's going to build up and clog the line. This 3/4 inch round rock, it rolls around and pushes around like marbles. Real easy to work with. Start out extremely shallow. You're going to drop an inch every 8 feet for your 1% slope. You're going to get deep in a hurry. Before you know it, you can go right into a quad pack. This system is going to dry up the entire yard. And any water coming in from the neighboring properties, it's going to grab that up too. So we're cutting the fabric. You see the excess fabric? The men are cutting the excess off. We only want it to overlap 3 inches. Then we go ahead and we put sand on top of the French drain. Then you put your sod down. If you put your sod down on the fabric without any sand, and this sod was growing in clay soil, you're all done. It's not going to grab up any surface water. Our French drains grab up surface water and subsurface water. So we have these fabric pins. Super easy to use these fabric pins. We cut the excess off after we pin it. It's easier to pin it. Then you know exactly what you needed for fabric. Once you sized your fabric perfect, just go ahead and use these fabric staples. Some guys will use their hands, some guys will use a rubber mallet. This don't have to be perfect. We're literally trying to keep the dirt from migrating in with the drainage stone. That is it. Trim off any excess. Overlap a few inches and trim off the excess. That way you can take in the surface water. If it's overlapped heavily, it won't be able to take in the surface water. Now remember, this fabric has been double punched. So when you put a layer of fabric on top of a layer of fabric that has a bunch of random holes in it, you're not going to get those to line up. So it's not going to take in any water. This house has irrigation, so we can get away with putting a few inches of sand. But if you're in the south where it gets really hot and you don't have sprinklers, mix in some topsoil with your sand, make a good sandy loam, and put that down generously so that your lawn don't burn. We have no problem growing turf grass in Michigan on our French drains, none whatsoever. But you do need a few inches of sand underneath the sod, and when you cut the sod off, you got to take as much root with it. You can see the guys, they got the sod cutter set to where they're getting a lot of dirt with that turf grass root. All right, so this is the after. Let's take a look. So we always put a little grass seed and straw down wherever there was no grass. So there was no grass in a couple of spots. It's early, real early in the year. In the north, April 20th is, guys, when I say that everything just came out of its dormancy, I'm not lying. We had a bunch of rain, and the nitrogen in the rain greened up the grass and finally woke it up and brought it out of its dormancy, its winter dormancy. So if we cut some early sod, it falls apart a lot of times, guys, because until we get going, the roots are not established. So we'll put some grass seed and straw in some areas, and then it does real well. But this is the after. Now I want to point out, this is all mold and mildew on this fence. That's how wet this yard was. Look at that. Mold and mildew. Not anymore. We're going to dry that right up. So they got pets, they got children. We're going to make this yard tight and right. Keep in mind, this system works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days out of the year. Now that it's in place, as soon as this yard dries out, it'll stay nice and dry. A lot of times people call us like a week or two later and say, the yard's still kind of squishy. Well, when it was completely saturated and there was no system in place and it was allowed to get like that, it's going to take a little while for it to finally tighten up and to dry out. But once it does, this system will prevent it from ever becoming the spongy, squishy mess that it was. This is a really nice perimeter French drain. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up. It supports the channel. If you have any questions about yard drainage, leave them in the comments section. I'm your host, Robert Sherwood, and until the next video.